Okay, so the number one question that you're asked when you return from a cruise or any type of vacation is people want to know, how was it? So we are here today to let you know how it was. We're going to give a full recap from beginning to end of our total experience with our 8-day Caribbean cruise with Royal Caribbean Harmony of the Seas.
Right.
And by the way, I'm Stay Hall.
And I'm Dr. Wallace Hall.
And for those of you who are new to the channel, thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Please consider becoming a permanent part of the Lifer Tribe by hitting that subscribe button. And for my returning Lifer Tribe members, y'all know that trips me up every time. Thank y'all. You know I love you guys and appreciate you so much. So let's just get into it, as they say.
Okay.
So our cruise left from Miami, which meant we had to do some travel right off the bat. We live in Dallas-Fort Worth. I prefer to cruise out of Galveston, but the pickings are a little slim as far as your destinations and the ports of call. So we wanted to go somewhere we hadn't been before, which is why we went ahead and flew to Miami. So flying to Miami, we left from DFW International. So you want to tell them about the parking, because that's the whole thing too. If you're not getting dropped off at the airport, then parking is something that you can set up in advance so that you're not, you know, hustling and looking for something last minute. And Wallace usually takes care of that part.
Yeah, there are a few different alternative options you can do for parking go, because this time we didn't use a car service or nothing. We just chose to just park the truck at the airport. We parked at remote north. North Covered is where we parked at, and pretty seamless. Just a matter of getting there that morning, and they have quite a few shuttles to take you from your vehicle to the airport to the terminal you're going to. So pretty seamless. My hats off to DFW. They've always done a great job for how their shuttle services and things are set up when you do things like that, because we either use a car service or we'll park right at the terminal or different ones. So there's a lot of different options around that. So DFW Airport, hats off to you on that.
And you're able to make those reservations like ahead of time, right?
Yeah, it's best to make them online. There's different little deals you can get if you make them sooner online. The sooner you know about your flight or your travel plans, the better it is to make those parking reservations, because there's different little sales and things like that. A lot of times, with flights, the further out it is, the cheaper it is to buy. So
exactly. And so that brings me to the next part, which was the flight. I booked the flights through Priceline.com, and so we didn't get the same airline going and coming, so we were on two different airlines. So leaving from DFW, we were on American Airlines, and our flight was at like 5 a.m.
Yeah, we're gonna be at the board. I think it started boarding at like 4. We left out at 5 or something like that. Yeah.
So we got to the airport at 3 o'clock in the morning. We did do our TSA pre-check. So if you don't have TSA pre-check, I suggest you go ahead and do it now. I think it's like only $78. And in some places you may have to go to the airport to do it. I'm not sure about every city, every state, but for us, they have little
satellite offices.
Yeah, like so you could go maybe to an Office Depot. We went to a AAA office. So it just depends, but you can look it up, but it is definitely worth it. However, what we found out is if you have an early morning flight, they don't have a TSA pre-check line, but the line wasn't long. Right.
Those early morning trips and stuff, they don't have a special line set up for TSA. But once you get up there and you show your passport and everything, and they realize your ticket, your boarding pass rather, and they see that you're TSA, you don't have to undress and you don't have to take your shoes off and things like that. You can just still go through the line pretty easily, which is always a big success.
I just was on a life-saving mission. The puppy had gotten this little doodad from somewhere. You know, whenever you have raised children and you're a mom, you still, even though I'm an empty nester and I just have this puppy, I hear everything. And he's over there and I'm like, that does not sound like a toy he's chewing on. So I just saved his life. So kudos to me. But I'm sorry, babe. Where were you?
TSA.
Okay, yeah, so you told them if you show your boarding pass, they see it, you still don't have to take your shoes off.
Right, you still, it's not a special line, but like I said, that early in the morning, I guess it really depends on what terminal, because we left out early in the morning like that before, and it's been packed. And I guess it's really the terminal that you're leaving out of, but this wasn't, it was only like 3 people ahead of us in the whole line. So we were to go through that and had our choice of how we were going to, which line we wanted to go through. And like I say, you just show them to them. And TSA, you still have to take your shoes off, and it still speeds up the process.
You don't have to take your laptop out of your bag.
But definitely worth it, because there are other lines that you go through and you show your TSA, you jump to the head of the line. So a lot smoother process.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So of course we boarded, we get to Miami. We got a taxi from the Miami airport to the hotel, and we stayed at the Hilton downtown Miami. We got there early in the morning, so it was during rush hour traffic. So it took us a little longer. I think really it's only about 15 minutes from the airport, this hotel. But because we were there during rush hour, I guess it took us about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. So our cab ride ended up being about $40, and then of course with a tip we ended up paying about $55. But my sister and her husband came later in the day, and I think that they said that their cab ride was only like $30 because they came, like mid-afternoon. So, but it was also an easy process. But I want to let you guys know something that I found out. So we get out of the airport and we go to where all the taxis are. So of course they're lined up, it's early in the morning, and so everyone is trying to get you to come to their car. So we just kind of go to the first guy who says, where are you going? We tell him, and he's like, okay, get in. So we get in the cab and we're driving, and about maybe 10 minutes into the ride, I noticed that there's a sticker on the window that says there is a 30% upcharge fee because this is a van. Y'all, talk about heated, because your girl, I'm not trying to pay extra for services I don't need. Wallace kept saying it's not a big deal, but you know me, I was not happy about that because I felt like the guy was being an opportunist. He did not say that in the beginning. I mean, he never said it. I just happened to see the sign, but you see it's only 2 people. We don't need this minivan, and the minivan was raggedy. It wasn't even like it was uber black, right? It is a tore up minivan, seats ripped up, but it was a yellow taxi. But I asked him, I said, are you going to charge us the 30% extra for the van because it's only 2 people? And he was like, oh, I'm sorry, that's just the policy. So learn from my mistake, pay attention, look at the stickers on the window, because we ended up paying 30% more because we were in a van. So
my thing on that is, once you in it, in those type of situations, it is what it is, and say, hey, my bad this time. Next time I'll make sure I pay closer attention to those things. Like I say, we all ever take taxis. That's for one thing.
Right.
Normally it's a car service or an Uber Black, something like that. So we all ever take taxis. So it was just that shock, because most time you do Uber or something like that, or even a car service, you know exactly what you're paying already. Yeah. But to jump in a taxi and you ride, and all of a sudden you see that does kind of throw you off a little bit. But like I say, once you're in a situation,
once he said yes, it's the whatever. I didn't say anything. It was just like, yeah, I'm not gonna jump out on the middle of the highway. But yeah, I felt like, as my brother-in-law would say, yeah, they got me. So just be aware of that, because we had a whole second row, third row back there that we didn't need, and we only had two suitcases, and we each had not even an actual carry-on. He had a backpack, and I just had my little Telfar bag. So yeah, we definitely didn't need a van. But anyway, we got to the hotel. We got there way before check-in time. Check-in time is like 4:00, and we got there at like 9:00 in the morning. However, was it Caesar at the desk, or Caesar was the concierge? David was at the desk.
David was at the desk.
Yeah. And David really looked out for us. The hotel, the Hilton downtown Miami, is like a full service hotel, one-stop shop. If you are looking for somewhere to stay where you really don't want to have to go anywhere and find anything to do or eat in Miami, and it's close to the port and close to the airport, I highly suggest it.
Yeah. It's a beautiful hotel. We saw some other things where people kind of talk about a little bit, but like it might be an older hotel. But my thing is, when you're in those ports like that, especially in Miami and those areas, the weather and humidity plays a big part of it. But overall, I thought the hotel was beautiful. I thought the staff was unbelievable. They're very accommodating. Everyone we met there was awesome. Like I say, the food we had while we was there, because we ate breakfast that morning, well, food that morning, and
They have a Starbucks in there.
Starbucks and two restaurants, two eating places.
Right.
So buffet first thing in the morning for breakfast or whatnot, but I thought it was awesome. We had a great time.
Yeah, it was really nice and very comfortable because we ended up, staying in the lobby area for a little while waiting, even though we ended up getting our room still way before 4 o'clock, which was great. And we could have gotten it even earlier than we did, except for the fact that I had reserved a specific room that I wanted. And so we got the junior suite, corner suite overlooking the port in downtown and the rooftop pool. So I wanted that room in particular because David had come to me a couple of times and said, hey, there's other rooms available you guys can have if you want, but it's not that one. But we didn't have anything to do. We were just killing time, talking on our phones. I really wanted the experience of that room. And the room tour is in the first day embarkation vlog, if you haven't already seen that. And then I'll be sure to insert a clip, a little bit of it right here as well. But yeah, beautiful room, floor to ceiling windows, panoramic view. You wake up in the morning, you see your ship there at port. So I really recommend the hotel. Nice pool area. They have happy hour Monday through Friday. What else?
Oh, and just to comment on the view. The view is beautiful. It overlooks one of the most special places in the world, the Miami Ferrari of Miami dealership. Man, and if anybody from Ferrari wants to sponsor me or give me a Ferrari, I'm all for that. But yeah, that was the highlight of that hotel room, just the view
and
of the
Ferrari dealership. And
Ferrari
it's funny, he's
dealership.
looking for sponsorship, and he's a guest on my YouTube channel. So I don't even know where you're going to sponsor him, but I'll take it on his behalf. He is hilarious. But yes, we did walk around in Ferrari a little bit. It is right there. So yeah, I definitely recommend it. They also have a shuttle service where they will take you to the port, and you do that in advance as well because of course the shuttle does fill up quick. So you can call the hotel 2 weeks before is the furthest out you can do it, and reserve your shuttle. It's $8 per person, at least at the time of the filming of this video. $8 per person, and you have to have cash. Our embarkation time was 10:30, so we got the 10 o'clock shuttle, which I believe is the first one of the day because we had the first embarkation time of the day, so there's really no need to go much earlier. But we got the shuttle. He is very timely. They told us about that, so we were downstairs in the lobby, got our coffee, everything 9:30. Sat in a little waiting area, which they have indoor and outdoor waiting space. The shuttle pulls up, load your luggage, and we were at the port in 5 minutes?
5-10 minutes max, if that.
If that. So very seamless, very easy process. So that's another thing I suggest that you do. Just call if you choose to use that hotel. Call the concierge, mark it on your calendar, call them, set it up, pay, and you don't have anything to worry about. So I guess that gets us to the actual embarkation process once we got to the port, which, what'd you think about that?
I thought it was, it's something when you hear other people's perspective on different things, and I don't really understand, some people's expectations when they're, when these processes are happening, because the process was so smooth. I mean, when you first look at the line, because they have the lines kind of set up by your time of your embarkation time. And the lines are set up like that, and I don't know if people just get frightened as soon as they see a line. We got in a line. The line probably was looked in the beginning like it was going to be about 50, 60 people deep. And I tell you, it wasn't 4 or 5 minutes at the max. We were inside showing our passports, showing our boarding passes, and we were on our way. I mean, it was one of the most seamless things I've ever been through a process like that. I waited longer in line for getting into a concert, and I had a VIP pass. Right. And this was no special, no key holders club, no pinnacle X status or nothing. This was just us having a cruise boarding passes. Regular, yeah. And it was smooth. My hat's off to Royal Caribbean. That process was so smooth. So I don't really understand what people's expectations are when they see stuff. I think people sometimes think they're supposed to just walk right in. Walk right up and...
Well, the key is having everything you need, because that's what I think sometimes there's that piece missing. Like, did you have everything out? Because if you have your passport out, you have all of your travel documents already uploaded on your phone, your CPass. Like if you have everything, they want you to move fast. You know, they have their iPads out there, their scanners out there. They're ready for you. But I think that's what holds it up sometimes.
Could be.
Is people just aren't prepared, or, you know, even going through the security process. We put our stuff on the conveyor belt, it went through, and next thing you know, we were on the escalators on our way up. But of course, if you have an iron in your bag, if you have a steamer in your bag, if you're bringing alcohol on, that's going to hold up the process. But if you follow the rules and you're prepared, it was easy.
My suggestion also, if you're traveling with people, you tell them, when I move, you move. Okay, especially people that are not quite as experienced as you are. When I move, you move. So even when we got through there, and the people that were traveling, Marvin and Fred, that were traveling with us, they were just now kind of coming through. The lady was so nice. She said, "Just walk slow, and they'll catch up." I thought it was so funny the way she said it.
She was like, "You can't stop and wait for them, but if you walk slow, just walk slow, and they'll catch up." Yeah, and that was the thing, because they had their stuff ready too, and you want to prepare people who haven't done it. Because for me, I'm a researcher, so before our first cruise, I watched tons of vlogs, tons of videos. Absolutely love RoyalCaribbeanBlog.com. Matt helped me a lot. I watched him all the time before my first cruise because I am Royal loyal, but that really helped. So then I had all of this research and knowledge. So when my sister and my brother-in-law came, I shared everything with them. So they were like seasoned professionals as well. And we just kind of, we moved as a unit, didn't get separated because that happens sometimes too. But it was a great process. No problem. We got on the ship. A thing that I would recommend is, if you're going to be embarking early, you may want to use that as an opportunity to take advantage of some of the amenities on the ship. So you might want to pack your bathing suit in your carry-on bag, different things like that, because people are scattered all about. They're going to guest services. They're trying to make reservations for restaurants. So do as much as you can ahead of time. So then when you get on the ship, you can be enjoying while other people are still fluttering about trying to get everything taken care of. Another thing that we did was we made a reservation for Jamie's Italian restaurant, which is one of the specialty restaurants that is actually open for lunch on Embarkation Day. And you get basically the same menu for lunch as you would for dinner, give or take maybe one or two items, and it's like half the price. And then you're not fighting the crowds in the buffet areas like the Windjammer and things like that. You have a nice sit-down lunch, gourmet, and you're kind of away from all the crowds.
One thing, I think a lot of people may have the mindset of that when you first come on. Like some businesses are just now getting started, first thing in the morning, something like that. But on these ships, especially Royal Caribbean, they are already ready. And they know they're going to get people coming on board, people to try and help spread it out, keep people from all being congregating in one area and being bored. So bartenders are already going. Most of your restaurants are already going. Everything is already up and going. So you don't have to just be bogged down in one little spot wondering what you're going to do. The pizza places are open. Everything is up and ready for you to start your vacation the moment you walk onto the ship. And I think that's just so awesome. And that's why I say, even though like the pools and the water slides and all that stuff is already going as soon as you get on the ship. So that's why, the things like packing your suit, your swimsuit and things like that, you can quickly change clothes and you can go start, enjoying your vacation as soon as you step foot on the ship. Or if you just want to go sit in the bar and get a drink or something, that's what we did. Just went kind of chilled out and just kind of just taking it all in. As we kind of did our little tour around. And so that is the thing to kind of think about. It's not you just come on a ship and now we got to sit and wait for our room. No, you can start your vacation immediately as soon as you get on the ship. And unless you're one of the people who choose to carry around your luggage, some people do. We chose to give our luggage to the porters.
It's so worth it.
And to go on that. That way we're not lugging luggage all over the ship when we first get on. We're able to get on and start our vacation as soon as we arrived on the ship.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like you give the porters a couple of bucks. You make sure you have your luggage tag on there with all your information. And, it's like you turn over your luggage. Well, a lot of us at the airport, and to me, that's a lot riskier of it getting lost or chance of it getting lost in the porter. So I suggest just have a few bucks, give them a nice tip, and go on about your business and start your vacation.
Yeah, our porter was so great. He called everybody around and said, A, B, C, D, this is what you do. A, B, C, D, then 1, 2, 3, this is what you do. This is what you go and inspect, and boom. we were off and running. So
yeah, it was great. It was great. And so our room was ready, I guess, around 1:30. I wasn't even paying attention because our room was ready before we were ready because we had the lunch reservations, but they made the announcements about the room. I really don't remember the time because, again, we were prepared. We were already enjoying the vacation, so it didn't matter. But once we got to our room, which that was another thing, we picked a specific room. We picked room 10329, so it's the 10th deck, room 329, actually the last room on the corner. But on this Oasis class ship, you have the choice with the balcony rooms for either a view of the interior or your typical exterior ocean view. Well, this particular room and others, I guess along that part of the deck, you get a view of both the interior as well as the ocean view.
Right.
So we were overlooking the boardwalk as well as we had the ocean view, and we could see the aqua theater. So we were able to enjoy 3 aqua theater shows right from our balcony. So we didn't have to worry about making reservations for the show. We didn't have to worry about getting there early for a good seat. So I'll definitely put some footage here so you could see that view that we had, but it was definitely a great room. So I highly suggest it. And that's something I suggest when you're planning for a cruise or any vacation for that matter, because we have resorts we go to where we did the same thing. We just kind of look at other people's vlogs and see the rooms that they stayed in or the restaurants that they ate in. And we just kind of take the best of what we see, and that's how we create our experience.
Yeah, the room was magnificent. Hats off to Edgar, our room attendant. He was awesome. Room was spotless. He was on top of that every day, every morning. Very friendly when we interacted with him. He's awesome. And like I said, the views were just incredible. We were able to see the boardwalk area, plus you see the aqua theater, and you could look out and see the ocean too, the way our room was situated, our balcony was situated. So if you want to people watch, you can sit there and do people watch. If you want to just stare at the ocean, you can sit there and stare at the ocean. You can just take it all in from those rooms on those columns. I think you can go on either side of it, and on those different decks and that particular room series. So I would suggest getting that type balcony situation if that's what you're into. But
if you like
to
to people watch.
Right.
And some people worry about the privacy of it because there are rooms directly across from you, but that ship is pretty wide, first of all. But you can see people when they're on their balconies, and you have the blackout curtain, so you just have to be mindful that, when you're in the bed or when you're going to be changing clothes, just to close those curtains because you cannot see through those at all. Right. But if you have them open, then there is a chance that people who are across the way, if they're looking out their balcony or if they're sitting outside, they can see you. As far as the noise, you can hear some noise during the day. There's a little kids climbing thing down there. The abyss slide comes through there. The zip line goes directly across. But it never affected us at all. I think that would only be an issue with someone who was kind of chilling out and trying to nap during the day. When it's really busy, I could imagine that might be, because even with the balcony doors closed, you could still hear. Yeah. But, we were out and about every day until at least 10, 11 o'clock at night. And by that time, we couldn't hear anything. And when we got up in the morning, we were up, and we get up pretty early too. So it wasn't a whole lot of hustle and bustle, but you're awake. So for us, it wasn't the noise.
Yeah, even on time of day when I take a nap in the middle of the day, it was still noise is noise. It's not. I equate to having the TV on. It wasn't noisy or anything like that make you say, "Oh man, I can't sleep." I was able to come in and take a nap and do things I need to do. It was a great day, so worked out good.
These are the things that happen when you have adult children. I just got a text from Ian asking, "Have I had the chicken pox?" How do you not know if you've had the chicken pox, son? That's too funny. No, you never had the chicken pox. You got the vaccine. But anyway, so we talked about Edgar. His service was great. The service throughout was pretty good. Now, we did have a couple of issues with service, so I want to be completely honest, completely transparent. Nothing is perfect. So I can't say that there was not a flaw in the whole trip, that there wasn't anything. There was a little bit of issue with service. Now, we're going to talk about food, but this is a service part of it. We ate at Johnny Rockets one day was that lunch or dinner? It wasn't dinner, so it had to be lunch because we did dinner in the main dining room every night, which was great. But our server at Johnny Rockets just kind of seemed like she just didn't want to be there. I don't know what it was. A really different vibe than we typically get on vacation, period. Usually on vacation, everybody's in a good mood. They want you to have a good time. They interact. She was very like, I'm just here for the check. What do you want? Kept explaining to us. I think she was upset because she had been working at a different area of the ship, and they had just moved her to Johnny Rockets, and I don't think she liked that because she kept telling us over and over again, they just moved me here today, so I'm really not sure. I said, well, where's the plate with the smiley face? Because, I'm a vlogger. I'm trying to capture the experience for y'all. And so Johnny Rockets is known for the plate with the ketchup smiley face, and you get your French fries and your onion rings. So I'm like, hey, where's the plate? Can we get that? She was like, I don't know anything about that. So then she said, I'll go ask the chef. She came back out and said, the chef never heard of that. Now, y'all know, whether you've been on Royal Caribbean or not, if you've watched a Royal Caribbean vlog and it was a Royal Caribbean ship with a Johnny Rockets, they have the plate with the smiley face ketchup. But I let it go. And then there were a couple of other things that happened, and she was just very, very short with us. Very like, why are you here? As if we had come to her house and asked her to cook us dinner. But it was odd, right? It
was very odd. And there's note to us being in a business where we teach customer service skills and things like that. I just want to put this out there. You never really have to tell people it's your second day or your third day or anything like that. Just say, hey, I'm not familiar with that right now, but let me go ask someone who may know that or may have that answer for
and then
you.
Really go ask, because I know she didn't ask the chef, because how would the chef say, I don't know what they're talking about?
Yeah, so she probably didn't explain it right or whatever. She went to ask just for a plate of ketchup. I don't know. So she was a little off there, but yeah.
And then there was another issue that I had with one of the bartenders at the Mexican restaurant there. What's it called? Sabaros or Sabar? I don't know, but the Mexican restaurant. So it's funny. So there was something going on the boardwalk because they're like right across from each other. And so if you ever go on the ship or if you've ever been on the ship, the Mexican restaurant is a specialty dining, but they have a bar that's right out in the boardwalk. So you can get drinks from that bar even if you're not eating at the restaurant. And so it's really, see, you're smiling and laughing already. See, he thinks it's funny. But it's kind of confusing because at the entrance of the bar, it's also the entrance of the restaurant. And so people kind of line up to go eat, but then the bar expands all the way out into the boardwalk. And so, typically when you see a bar, you can kind of just step up to the bar and just wait for someone to address you. So at this particular time, I had gone to the bar and there was a line, and I stood in the line for a couple of minutes, but then I realized that when they were coming to get people from the line, they were seating them in the restaurant. So I thought to myself, oh, well, I don't want to be in front of anybody who's going into the restaurant. I'm just trying to have a drink. So I stepped out of the line and went over and stood on the other side of the bar and just kind of waited. I was patient. And then the bartender comes over and asks me, what would you like? And I tell him, and then he says, I'll make it for you, but in the future, you need to wait in line because people are going to get mad if I'm serving you and you cut in the line. I'm like, dude, I was waiting in the line. And I said this to him. I didn't say dude, but I said, well, I did wait in the line. I said, but I was a little confused because everyone in the line was being seated and I didn't. So yeah, he was just kind of rude. He was just like, well, you shouldn't do that and whatever. But the thing is, it's one thing if he wants to correct me. I mean, he could have been nicer about it or tried to explain. But then as I'm watching, tons of people are coming to the bar because now I'm paying attention every single day, babe. Didn't we see people just waiting at the bar and then there's people in the line to go to the restaurant? So I don't know. There was something a little off with the vibe on the boardwalk this time. I don't know. And they work a lot, months and months at a time with no days off. So I'm not mad. I will definitely be back, but I just want to be 100% honest. I'm not going to say, oh, everything was wonderful. There were just a couple of little hiccups, but nothing even ruined my day, didn't even ruin the hour. Like, I was just like, all right, then, and kept it moving. So what's next? Oh, we didn't talk about, we got on. So Coco K. Mm-hmm. Our itinerary changed. We initially, like I said, I like to leave from Galveston because it's just easier, but Galveston usually is only going to take you to certain ports of call in Mexico. So we wanted to be able to experience a different itinerary. So we originally were supposed to be going to the Bahamas and Royal Caribbean's private island Perfect Day at Coco Cay, along with St. Kitts and St. Thomas. Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, there was a hurricane a brewing, and the night before the decision was made, the night before we left from here, the decision was made that the itinerary was going to be changed. And so we ended up going to the same. So anyway, we're back. Y'all probably didn't know, but the camera cut us off. However, our itinerary changed, so we ended up going to Costa Maya and Cozumel, but we still were able to go to the Bahamas on the first day and visit the private island Perfect Day at Coco Cay, which I feel like is phenomenal.
Real
It's
nice.
free. There's plenty of places you can eat there complimentary. If you have the drink package, or drink package still works there. They have a lot of complimentary beach seating, a lot of different areas. We opted to rent an all-day day bed, which was a huge day bed with 2 loungers. I think it was like $200 for up to 4 people. Bottles of water, whatever. It was great. What did you think about Coco Cay?
Coco Cay was awesome. The DJ was killing it.
The pool DJ.
So yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, that Coco Cay was great. I enjoyed the atmosphere, the vibe that was on there. Got to walk around and kind of just check in some of the scenery. It was a great little island resort. I thought it was real nice the way the food stuff was set up, the way you kind of navigate the island and everything. Kind of things are spread out, so not everybody's jammed up in one place. Even at the pool,
and there were 2 ships there.
Yeah, even at the pool, it didn't seem too crowded. I mean, the pool wasn't that crowded. Everybody had their own space and everything. Met some wonderful people there. Met some people from Atlanta and some other places. Well, Atlanta's a wonderful spot, but just met some people from all over. Let's put it that way. And it was wonderful. It was a good time.
Yeah, good time. You have to try the chicken sandwich. I know everybody talks about it. We
Coco Loco. You gotta drink
and
a Coco Loco.
Hey, y'all,
with
so
cracking
you got
rum.
the goods.
Let me
Let's
see.
try this
What else
mozzarella
was
stick.
good? The cookies were good. If you watch the vlogs, we sampled a good bit of that food. So you watch the Coco Cay vlog, you'll get to see that. But yeah, it was really fun. The largest freshwater pool in the Caribbean. They have the water slides there. We didn't do the water slides at Coco Cay, but it looked fun. It looked nice. Yeah. Definitely something to do. So that was worth it. Even though we went to some of the other same ports of calls that we've been to before, I believe that Coco Cay was worth the price of admission.
Right.
We had a good time. And we still had a good time in the other ports. We just didn't do excursions because we had been there before. But all over it was great.
Right. Like the food at Coco Cay, I've seen people talk about the food or have issues. I'm like, it's food. It's not like it's horrible food. It's not 5-star food, but it's food. I thought it was pretty good.
It's not like you're going on a food cruise. You know what I mean? Like where the whole thing of the cruise is Michelin star dining. Like it's a cruise with food, not a food cruise.
Yeah, I heard one person who was commenting on the food, so he goes by in places like that and says, would I go and buy this at a fast food place or a restaurant or something? And I had to say, yeah, hands down, I would definitely, if there was a place around here that sold chicken sandwiches like that and those chicken sandwiches and mozzarella sticks and the food there, I would definitely go pay for it. So I don't understand how people be so critical. Food, I would just wonder, like we talked about before, what are you eating in your day-to-day life that you... are
you eating 5-star every day?
Yeah, that you're on a cruise now and choosing to pick the food apart. I don't really
And there
understand.
are other options. Even at Coco Cay, they have the, the little upcharge. I can't remember what it's called. But there's another little part of the resort where you could go and get lobster and all of that. So you do have choices. But as far as the complimentary options... For what they were, I think that they were great. So I guess that just leads us to the food overall.
Oh, yeah.
We ate at the main dining room each night for dinner. And I don't think we had any complaints.
No, the main dining
we
was
love main
awesome.
dining.
Rita Munswear, I think that's how you say his name, was awesome. Rita was our head waiter, head service person, however you want to put it. And Tyrone was he was a head guy.
Yeah, he was the head of the wait staff.
He was
funny.
awesome.
He came by and visited the table with a joke every night.
Yeah, he was awesome. Rita and what's like say, food was on point, service was on point. I mean, no issues whatsoever. Yeah, it was awesome. And one thing I love about the staff, especially those 2 people there that helped us at our table, Rita and Muswar, they really were what service is supposed to be. They were there to to help us and make sure we had the time of our lives. If something wasn't right, if something wasn't this or that,
It was like we really
asking.
knew them by the end of the cruise.
Yeah, like they became part of our family. That was so awesome about it,
They were
and
funny.
how they were involved, and they knew what, the drink you like. They know the food that we like. They know how you like certain things, appetizers. Even let us know, hey, that appetizer you had the other night, we have it on the menu again today. Would you like that? So that you want this drink, you want it that way. So that was awesome, and my hats off to them, and I wish them nothing but the best, man. They were really awesome.
Yeah, they were great. And here's a little tip. So, Royal Caribbean has changed their menu, and it's a little bit more streamlined, where they don't have the classic menu where you can just get certain things every single day. And then the lobster night is now only one lobster tail per person. If you want more than one lobster tail, you have to pay for it. Well, our wait staff was awesome because neither one of the husbands are really into lobster, but they were able to order the lobster along with whatever else they wanted and give the lobster to my sister and myself. So that's just a little pro tip. If you want more than one lobster tail, if someone in the party doesn't want the lobster, they can still order it and you can have it, because you can order as many entrees as you want. So they can still get whatever they want and just order the lobster. And it was just funny. A little situation we had, and Rita kind of hooked it up for us and made sure that we got our lobster tail. So that was great. But yeah, no complaints about the dining at all, because you have to be of the mindset of what it is. Like, there's people who complain about the dog shack, the hot dogs. It's a hot dog. Like, no one said it was gourmet hot dogs, but for a hot dog, like if you were,
where are you going to get your hot dogs at?
Right, yeah. So for a hot dog, it's a great hot dog.
I've had hot dogs for free, and I've had hot dogs I paid for. So I was
they
like,
all taste like a hot dog.
They all taste like a hot dog.
Right.
It just depends on where you're going to get your dog. I had them from the convenience store. I've had them from the ballpark. I've had them from restaurants. Had them from Wiener Schnitzel. I've had them from different places. It depends on where a hot dog's a hot dog.
Yeah, and it's like when people
They were
complain
pretty
about the Windjammer, it's a buffet. Like, it's no different than if you go to your local old country buffet or whatever it is. It's a buffet. So you have to have the correct expectations. Something that I did try on this cruise that I hadn't tried previously, which I will continue to do, is breakfast in the main dining room. Mm-hmm. Normally, we would just go to the Windjammer for breakfast, but I tried breakfast in the main dining room like the second or third day, and that's what I did for the rest of the time. It's a sit-down breakfast. You order from a menu, but they have a lot of things on the menu. It's a lot less hustle and bustle, a lot less people. So I would definitely say, if you haven't tried that, experience the breakfast in the main dining room, because I think they're open for breakfast every day. Maybe not on port days, but anyway, definitely try the breakfast at the main dining room. The next thing is entertainment. Mm-hmm. Entertainment was good. What was your favorite entertainment?
I can't think of the guy's name. The guy that was emceeing the shows, the two shows he emceed, the game shows. The game shows. I thought the game shows were the best. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Margot's favorite was the game shows as well. The game shows were really fun. I enjoyed those.
The Quest, and what was the other one?
I
don't know. I can't think of the name.
Man versus woman or whatever.
Yeah,
it was
man
the
versus
men and women competition. I don't know what they call it.
And the other one was like they broke the whole
into teams.
Yeah, the whole stadium
in
the arena into teams.
I said the video. Everyone in the venue.
Yeah, into teams and sections.
And that host was great.
Yeah, he is awesome. Should we insert a picture of him here?
Yeah, Wallace took a picture with him.
He was awesome.
So yeah, I can't remember his name. Maybe I'll be able to blow it up and look at his name tag. But he was funny. Definitely a personality. For me, my favorite entertainment, I'm gonna say it was Grease. I've shared with y'all in previous videos that I was in Greece in high school back in 1990, and I played Rizzo. And so Greece is always going to have a special place in my heart. But my sister is not a huge Grease fan, and I know everyone isn't, but she ended up wanting to see the show after I told her about it, but she didn't get the opportunity because it only ran, I think, twice on our sailing. But even if you're not a huge Grease fan, the production was just amazing. And the fact that this is a Broadway production on a cruise ship, like they had sets coming from up out of the floor. The lighting was great. They had people up in the balcony. Like it's hard to explain, but just the production, whether you're a fan of that actual show or not, if you can appreciate good production, good sound quality, talent, it was just there. So that was my favorite. And I saw that the first night.
And I have to say the Aqua show, so between the game shows and the Aqua show for me, 1 and 2, and they can go in either order both ways, The Aqua show is incredible. The things that they do on a ship. And it's really weird. The pool looks big at certain viewpoints. But then when you get down there and see, the pool is really small, what they're jumping into from the height they're jumping.
Feats.
And man, that was awesome. Hats off to them on that Aqua show. I think what was it called?
I can't
Frontline.
remember. There were two of them.
Yeah. That was awesome.
One of them was more like a bunch of tricks and whatever, just like a full-on show, just showing their skills and walking the tightrope and diving from. And then the other one was more like a performance, a play. Right. Yeah, it was like Shangri-La, something. I don't know, but they're both worth seeing.
Yeah,
and if
definitely
you get
worth
one
seeing.
of those rooms, you can watch it right from your balcony.
Yeah, because I think we watched multiple. We watch both shows multiple times. If we're like that, we're able to see them every time they came on
a lot. Yeah,
so it was awesome. Cool. And those athletes is what I call them. Athletes, acrobats, or the performers were incredible. So I say that entertainment on this ship was outstanding. I love the comedians. I even love the comedians. Thought the comedians were real good, real good.
Really good. He
Very
was
personal.
supposed to say that karaoke was his favorite because I was a part of the karaoke entertainment. I don't know why that wasn't his favorite, so we'll talk about that off camera.
Evidently wasn't your favorite either, so.
Well, I'm just not going to toot my own horn, but I did end up winning the Royal Voice, and that was fun.
The karaoke was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
It was fun. I met some fun people who were in the competition with me because it was like a 3-day thing. So you had your initial one, and then you moved to the semifinals, then the finals. But yeah, I ended up winning overall. But it was a lot of fun. Karaoke was fun. But I agree. I mean, karaoke could not match the Aqua show or Grease. So I'm just kidding. But he was supposed to say that was his favorite. So unfortunately, after all that, there is the last day and de-embarkation, which that was pretty smooth too. They give you your luggage tags and everything the night before, the day before. You have the option, which I also suggest, unless you have like an early morning flight and just can't risk any delay. You can set your luggage out the night before by 10 o'clock. The porters will come by and get it. So then that way your luggage is waiting for you and you don't have to drag it through. Our de-embarkation time was like 9:30, so we had time to get up, have breakfast in the main dining room before we went out. My only complaint is it's so funny when you're boarding the ship on embarkation day, it just seems like everything is seamless. They're out there welcoming you, telling you where to go. And like we said, everything runs like a fine oiled machine. When you leave, it's just like, what do you do? That thing, get off.
It's like once you're out of the ship and you're out of their little port, their little setup they have.
Once the doors
once you get past the gates, it's like, hey, you're back into the wild now.
Yeah, you're on your own.
And it really is get hectic.
Yes.
When you first get off the ship,
there
coming out
there.
there.
Organization.
And I don't think that's really Royal Caribbean. I think that's more or less the Port Authority or whoever's in charge of that area.
But it's just mass confusion.
Yeah, mass confusion.
I should have talked to Margot and Fred because they had an earlier flight than us. So they set up shuttle service through Royal Caribbean. And I have not really talked to them about their experience in leaving and getting to the airport. But that was cool. They were able to set that up on
I think they had a designated area they had to go to.
But for us,
we were meeting a dear friend of ours down there, and so it was a little hectic for our part. So maybe if we had set up a shuttle service or something like that, it probably would have been a little bit smoother.
It was just crazy because there were cabs and regular cars, and then now with Uber and Lyft and all that, you don't know what is a professional car service or who is just somebody picking somebody up. So I'm on the phone with my friend and trying to tell her where to come, and there's buses and people everywhere, and the line for people to pick up the things that have been confiscated from their luggage on embarkation day was there, and you're just trying to find out where are my people, where am I supposed to be?
It's just so crazy how it's all combined right there. People coming to get on the ship and people leaving.
Yes, that was
so
the other
it's
thing.
all this intertwined chaos and traffic and all this other different stuff, and porters that are out there getting stuff for the new travelers that are coming on board. So it's just all that confusion. To me, it seemed like It just either have two separate areas. Area over here for people getting ready to get on the ship, and area over here for people getting off the ship. But all of that traffic and everything is right in there. You know, it's possible they're limited on space. I understand that, but it's just weird. That's just a crazy.
But nobody cares about those of us who are leaving. It's just like,
get
out of here.
No. You already done your deal, so
yeah,
get on out of here.
So that was the only thing. And then, you know, we spent the day in Miami, but we didn't do a whole lot. We just got something to eat, caught up with our friends, talked. So not much to say about Miami. Our flight was at 9 o'clock that evening on Spirit. Yes, we are one of those people who every time we fly Spirit, we say we're never going to fly Spirit again. And then Spirit hits you with that crazy deal that you can't refuse.
But this ended up being like a little combo deal too, kind of how we ended up on Spirit this time.
Yeah, it was through Priceline, and that was just the best flights for the times that we wanted, because I knew I wanted a late flight leaving Miami so I could spend the time with my friend and my goddaughter, and I wanted to get to Miami early. So yeah, so we did American and Spirit. However, I must say that besides, the thing is with Spirit, they nickel and dime you. We all know that. And so our luggage for American, our weight requirement, it couldn't be over 50 pounds. But then Spirit is 40 pounds. So I pushed it and I was at like about 43 pounds. So every once in a while they'll let you slide, but usually not. And the thing is, your luggage, I think, costs like $40 for a bag. But if you're over, then they charge you an additional $79. I don't know in what world that math is mathing, but like really, I could take a whole nother bag. So we had to do some moving things around. And the thing was, their weight requirement was 40 pounds. But if you're two people flying together, it was a combination. So literally, it has to be 80 pounds between the two of you, so it doesn't matter how it is. Like his bag could have been 50 pounds and mine 30, as long as we weren't over 80. So that was weird, but we got it. We got the luggage on.
My thing on that is Spirit and the deal. Like I said, I have my pros and cons about Spirit. Of course, the weight requirement is the biggest deal with that, especially going on vacation and coming back on vacation. Because generally, to me, Spirit hinders or hurts the vacation industry, because tourist industry rather, because you can't buy anything and bring it back. You like everything. Every time you go buying and looking at stuff, you're like, well, I can't get it back because I barely made the weight requirement coming down here. You know, so to me, it really push your mindset. It stops you from buying and spending money when you're out traveling and things like that, because you can't bring it back. I mean, how are you going to get it back?
And we've flown Spirit before and shopped and ended up buying an extra suitcase to come back, because it's cheaper to bring a second bag than to have over the weight. However, the positive, people don't like Spirit, I get it, but they do have an excellent safety record, so that's the most important thing. Yeah. And even though they don't have first class, I would say it is definitely worth it to choose your seats on Spirit, because we got the first two seats on the plane. I think I paid like $20 extra per person to get those seats.
The big seats.
They're the big seats. The first one on the plane,
first class on Spirit
would be. Yeah, where first class would be. But it was plenty of room. We were right there on the plane early, off the plane early. You know, so it wasn't a whole lot of confusion with that. So I think if you can get your weight requirement, or if you are going on a quick trip where you only need to take a carry-on, you know, Spirit is doing what Spirit's doing. You know, as long as you know the rules, then you can play the game and you can make it work. So it really wasn't that big of a deal, because we knew about the weight requirement.
It just gets to be a headache when you're getting ready to board the plane. You're trying to get we're trying to go through, boarding process and get everything. And you're having to open your suitcase up right there in the middle of in front of everybody and shifting stuff around out of the suitcase, trying to stuff it into a backpack. For stuff in there, so that just gets irritating. But
it was kind of our fault too, because we knew the weight requirement, and we even had our thing to weigh the suitcase. But I guess I thought, oh well, I'm only over 2 pounds, they might let me go, but they didn't. So so we knew. So that's the thing, just knowing and being aware and being prepared, that's the key. Because had we switched everything while we were still packing, we wouldn't even went through that. But that was just me thinking, oh, they ain't gonna get me for 2 pounds, but they will get you for 2 pounds. So that was the end of the trip. Overall, everything was great. We got back to DFW. You just make the phone call to the people for the shuttle for the parking lot. They came and picked us up, took us to the truck. It was safe and sound, and we made it home.
Yeah, we stopped and got some Whataburger, and we came on home.
Yeah, you got to stop and get some Whataburger every time you touch back down in Texas. But yeah, so that was it. So hopefully this video was informational and entertaining at the same time. Definitely recommend all of the things, like
Yes.
Harmony of the Seas, Royal Caribbean, the Hilton downtown Miami, the shuttle services. Like, there was none of it, even Spirit, that I would say, because I am no longer going to say I'm never flying Spirit again, because absolutely I'm going to fly Spirit again. If the price is right, I'm going to fly. But you just learn the little tricks to make it as seamless as possible, because again, they put the rules out there. You got to know how to play the game. So there's none of it that I wouldn't do again. Overall, it was a great experience, and we have already booked our next one. Note to you guys, men's clothes are heavier than women's clothes. Okay, he says that all the time.
Always know that when you're traveling. Men's clothes weigh a lot more than women's clothes, because we can't just throw the little onesies or the little one-piece outfits or things like that together. We got to have top and bottom, and our stuff generally weighs more than women. Just want you to put that out there. Something to think about.
Thank you for that, sir. Like I was saying, we already booked our next cruise. So we will be doing the Alaska cruise, which I'm so excited about. Everyone says
we'll probably do another cruise before.
We'll do something before it, but that was the cruise we booked on the cruise ship. Yeah. So that's something I didn't mention too. They do have next cruise on Royal Caribbean, where you can book your next cruise while you're on the ship. There's not really a price difference. So like, if there's a cruise you see now that you want to book, I would say go ahead and book it. Don't wait until you get on a cruise to book it, because the price could go up. But if you decide while you're on the cruise, or it's just, a spur of the moment thing, it's worth it only because you will get some extra perks like onboard credits. If you're making a deposit and not paying in full, the deposit is only $100 per person rather than $500. So there's things like that. But yeah, we're going on another one, and I'm already looking for something in between now and then, because now I am cruise addicted and definitely loyal to Royal. So again, hope this video gave you some information, hope it gave you some entertainment, and go out there and book your next vacation, cruise or not. Just do something.
Put your eyes on something different.
Absolutely. Get some new experiences. So you guys know the drill. Thank you so much for tuning in. I love each and every one of you to bits and pieces. Be kind and love one another, but never stop living your life. LYFE. Love yourself first explicitly. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Bye.